Dear friends, I am Nikhil Kumar. I am professor in the University Department of English of Veer Kumar Singh University Ara in the province of Bihar in India. Today I wish to speak on Sri Aurobindo's renunciation of his body. Way back in 1950, this day, Sri Aurobindo left his gross body very deliberately. Sri Aurobindo was born to bring down the transcendent divine supramental consciousness from its sovereign plane of existence into the earth existence, more to say, into the matter itself. And it will be a matter of wonder for you to know that Sri Aurobindo's renunciation of his body, his gross matter, is a step, rather it is a decisive step towards the making of a new matter, M capital matter. This new matter is the transcendent divine supramental matter. He renounced his body very deliberately for the very purpose of building this transcendent, forming this transcendent supramental divine matter. His renunciation is of the prime importance, not only for this earth existence, not only for this terrestrial existence, but for matter itself. And this prime importance is a thing of the domain of the invisible world of the yogic consciousness. We know very well that Sri Aurobindo is a yogi who has descended from the unknown eternal heights only for this very purpose of bringing down the transcendent divine supramental consciousness into this matter and bring about this supramental transformation in matter accordingly. This transformation of the present gross matter is in fact the making of the new supramental matter. In order to understand it, we have to be aware of certain yogic discoveries of Sri Aurobindo. The discoveries of which I am going to speak here have been made by our Vedic rishis also, but Sri Aurobindo's yogic consciousness has transcended the yogic consciousness of all the Vedic rishis, of the writer of the Gita. I must say that he is the 10th avatar in the person of a yogi. Sri Aurobindo has discovered the existence of a world a kingdom which exists just above the world of this gross matter, and it terms it subtle matter. It is a world of the subtle matter. The world of subtle matter is the shining origin. I am quoting the words of Sri Aurobindo. The world of subtle matter is the shining origin of this terrestrial world, is the shining origin of this gross matter. It is a ceiling which canalizes the descent of the transcendent divine consciousness, so that it could descend and enter into this world of gross matter exactly in the same way in which Lord Shiva did in case of the Ganga. We know the legendary story that King Bhagirath had to bring down the holy Ganga on the earth. But the very speed of the Ganga, the waters of the Ganga, was so strong that if it would have descended on the earth directly, the earth would have shattered into innumerable pieces. Therefore, there was a requirement for a break, to give a break in the speed of, or to minimize the speed of the flow of the waters of the holy Ganga. So it was possible, or it could be possible, when Lord Shiva let the holy waters of the Ganga to enter into the locks of his hair, so that the Ganga could descend on the earth. Exactly this very act was, or is to be performed, or is being performed by the domain of the world of subtle matter. Of the world of subtle matter, Sri Aurobindo says in his monumental epic Savitri that it is made up of matter, substance and soul's radiant light. S-O-U-L, soul, apostrophe S. This subtle matter is made up of the matter, substance and the soul's radiant light. Soul is the divine self. The individual soul is the individual poet of the transcendent supramental divine, which exists on its sovereign transcendent plane of existence. So the individual soul is the individual poise of that very transcendence. So when we look at the words that subtle matter is made up of matter, substance and soul's radiant light, it means that it is the transcendent divine consciousness and its light is or are at the base of this world of subtle matter. This world of subtle matter. I can make a comparison, or I can make an analogy from the scientific world, that in the modern physics there is a discovery of the probability wave. Probability wave is a tendency. Whenever the human thought thinks that a particle is a wave. Particle comes into the state of wave, and when a human mind thinks that wave has got the features of particle, the very wave, which is in fact a tendency, congeals into electron photon. As a result of the change of thought taking place in the mind of the experimenter, a tendency is formed, and that very tendency congeals into electron photon. So likewise, or in the similar manner, the very transcendent divine consciousness congeals to be, or congeals to come into, what we call matter substance, and it is the origin of the gross matter. And all of us know that every universal plane of existence within the domain of creation has its individual counterpart in the living creatures, or at least in human being, in the being of man. So there is a universal world of mind, and there is the individual counterpart of the universal world of mind in the form of the individual mind of a human being. Similarly, there is the existence of the world of life, universal world of life, and this universal world of life has its individual counterpart in the being of man, in the being of the other creatures, animals, birds, etc. Again we have the universal world of matter, gross matter, and it has its individual counterpart in the existence of the individual creatures. Similarly, the universal world of subtle matter has its individual counterpart. That is to say that a man has got a subtle body in himself. The subtle body made up of the subtle matter. This is the inner body. Similarly, there is the subtle life in the being of man. There is subtle mind in the being of man. Subtle life is inner life, subtle mind is inner life. And again, there is the gross matter, gross body, which is visible, which is perceptible to the matter-oriented mind of ordinary man. Gross matter, gross body, we have gross life, we have gross mind. So what we call to be death, initially it is the death of the gross body, gross life and gross mind. Soul, the individual soul of a man, lifts this gross body, sitting in the subtle body. The inner personality of man, inner being of man, the inner life and inner mind and inner body exist, and soul sitting in the subtle body goes out of the gross being of the man. When it leaves the gross being of man, that very event is cognized by us as the death of an individual. And when the soul lifts this gross being of man, its first station where it stops is the world of subtle matter. So there is the requirement of bringing about the supramental transformation of the world of subtle matter. First of all, the transcendent divine supramental consciousness is required to be brought down into the world of subtle matter, and then it has to be supramentalized. And because this world of subtle matter is the origin, the shining origin of the world of gross matter, only then a new matter, this supramental divine matter, will be born. I again repeat, the supramental divine matter will be born only after the world of subtle matter is supramentalized. In the beginning, I told you that Sri Aurobindo was born to bring down the transcendent supramental divine consciousness into matter. And therefore, he undertook the task for bringing it down. Sri Aurobindo discovered a yoga which he terms integral yoga, and his integral yoga is an evolutionary breakthrough not only of the life which we are living in the world of gross matter, but it is an evolutionary breakthrough in the world of yogic consciousness also. Yogic consciousness culminated into Sri Aurobindo's integral yoga. Up till now, or by tradition, we have received, we have been shown the yoga of supramental, the yoga of spiritual transformation, the yoga of spiritualization. But Sri Aurobindo discovered two more yogas. One is called the yoga of psychicization or psychic transformation, and the other is the yoga of supramentalization. This yoga of supramentalization could not be discovered by any of the Vedic rishis. It could not be discovered by the writer of the Gita, or we can say Lord Krishna. The yoga of supramental transformation could not be made by anybody. Because nowhere in the Gita, nowhere in the Upanishad, nowhere in the Vedas, any rishi speaks of the bringing down the transcendent divine supramental consciousness into earth existence, into matter, and bring about the supramental transformation. None of them has spoken that the transcendent divine consciousness will descend here, there will be a transformation, and a divine life, D capital divine, L capital life, divine life will be established into the earth. They speak of moksha, but this moksha is the renunciation of the earthly life, whereas Sri Aurobindo says that renunciation is not at all required. But here in the case of his renunciation of his body on 5th December 1950 is in fact not a renunciation but a decisive forward step in the direction of making the supramental divine matter, which has to replace the present gross matter with which the world of science, with which the ordinary man is acquainted, or in which the world of science is living, or in which all of us are living. This gross matter has to be replaced by your transcendent divine matter. So I was telling you that the world of subtle matter is to be supramentalized. Sri Aurobindo has brought down the transcendent supramental consciousness into his being from its sovereign plane of existence. This truth we can witness very well, very clearly by studying his monumental works such as The Life Divine. It is a prose work, but it is of epic nature. So The Life Divine I call to be an epic prose. So The Life Divine, his epic poem Savitri, his another epic prose work, The Synthesis of Yoga, Letters on Yoga, they all bear testimony to the fact that Sri Aurobindo had brought down this supramental consciousness into his being. In fact, he manifested supramental consciousness. His individual being was the manifestation of this supramental consciousness. And not only this, those who lived in the company of Sri Aurobindo in the Sri Aurobindo Ashram Pondicherry, which is presently called Puducherry, also witnessed the same. They are the eyewitnesses of this supramental consciousness which descended into the being of Sri Aurobindo. When in 1950, on this day, that is to say 5th December 1950, he renounced his body, golden light glowed out of his body. Earlier, he had told mother that he would leave his body so that the unfinished task of supramentalizing earth existence, the unfinished task of making the supramental matter is to be accomplished on the plane of subtle matter. It was to be accomplished on the plane of subtle matter. Because subtle matter, I again recall here that this world of subtle matter is the origin of this world of gross matter. This subtle matter gives birth to the world of this gross matter. So unfinished task of making a new supramental matter was to be done on this plane of subtle matter. But since I was telling you that since Sri Aurobindo brought down this supramental consciousness into his being by way of yoga, the yoga which he showed in the person of Savitri. Savitri also undertook, she in fact undertook the supramental yoga. Savitri's yoga in his epic Savitri is the yoga of supramental transformation. So as he could bring down the supramental consciousness into his being, as we notice in his epic Savitri and in his other works, it clearly means that the world of subtle matter was also supramentalized, because the supramental consciousness could not come into the world of gross matter through the body of Sri Aurobindo without crossing the world of subtle matter, because this is the route. We have a particular route to go to some place. The route is decided. If I have to go to Pondicherry, there is a route, particular route. Of course, there are so many routes to go to Pondicherry from Ara in Bihar or from Patna in Bihar. So many routes. But in the case of the journey of the supramental consciousness from its sovereign supramental plane to the plane of gross matter or into the world of gross matter, the route is decided. So, in this very route, this world of subtle matter comes. So, through the world of subtle matter, crossing the world of subtle matter, the supramental consciousness entered into the being of Sri Aurobindo. And because this supramental consciousness was concentrated into his body, soon after renouncing his gross matter, the supramental consciousness started coming out. A golden light glowed out. The golden light glowed out of his body. And golden light is the manifestation of the supramental consciousness. So, the moment he left his gross body, the supramental consciousness came out of his body and it spread, it permeated throughout the earth existence, throughout the world. It entered into throughout matter. It entered into the world of matter, and that supramental consciousness is spread there. So the golden light was glowing out of his body. Thousands of people witnessed it. A daughter of one of the ex-presidents of America came here to see him or to have a last darshan of Sri Aurobindo. So many people witnessed it. They witnessed that the golden light is emanating out of it. And mother said that this golden light is the supramental consciousness. Sri Aurobindo left his body, gross body, so that the concentrated supramental consciousness into his being, into his body could come out and it could permeate throughout the earth. It could permeate into matter itself. This is one of the stages of the process of making the transcendent divine supramental matter. Therefore, I said that his renunciation of his body is not in fact a renunciation. And it is of prime importance for this earth existence, for the existence of matter itself. And then Sri Aurobindo or his soul went into the world of subtle matter. It happens with everybody. When we die, our soul goes to or will go to the world of subtle matter. That is the first station where the soul has to stop there. So therefore Sri Aurobindo's soul went there, he left there and he went entered into the world of or ascended the world of the subtle matter, so that he could do the unfinished task of supramentalizing this gross matter, or to better to say, of making a new matter, so that a new supramental body could be made. And he has stated very clearly, he told mother that he will be born in the supramental body next time. Mother had also told, spoken of this, rather she has also told that she will be born in the supramental body. So in 1950, Sri Aurobindo left his gross body, and in 1956, on 29 February, an extraordinary event took place. There was the manifestation of the supramental consciousness into the earth nature. Let us notice here, or let us note here, that Sri Aurobindo brought down the supramental consciousness into his being, and as a result of the descent of the supramental consciousness into his being and Sri Aurobindo's supramental transformation, the transcendent supramental consciousness was established into matter. It was established at the base of the foundation of the base of this gross matter itself. So gross matter, the foundation of gross matter was replaced by the supramental consciousness the day Sri Aurobindo brought down the supramental consciousness into his being. And this very establishment of the supramental consciousness was consolidated, all the more consolidated, when Sri Aurobindo renounced his body and the supramental consciousness came out of his body, emanated out of his body in the form of golden light. So it was established finally into the earth existence. But it was not manifested. It could not manifest itself. Supramental consciousness could not manifest itself. It could manifest itself in 1956. We can very validly think, validly conclude that Sri Aurobindo, dwelling on the plane of subtle matter, made it possible for the manifestation of the supramental consciousness after 6 years of living this world of gross matter. And there the new matter, that is to say the supramental matter, he made, we can very logically infer it. And the very birth of the supramental body is in the pipeline. So these are the things which we can think very validly. There is nothing to refute it. So Sri Aurobindo's renunciation of his gross body is a great sacrifice for the world. Up till now, nobody had made such a great sacrifice. All of us is entrapped by the glamour of this earthly life. But it was not the case with Sri Aurobindo. He deliberately left it so that the transcendent supramental consciousness could be established here. Divine life, D capital, divine L capital life could be established here. This is the yogic importance of Sri Aurobindo's renunciation of his body. Thank you very much.